y'all, and welcome back to another episode with Many Thoughts with Dr. T. Today, we are here to review another episode from the new season called Somebody's Son on the OWN network. Okay, I think we're on episode 4. Okay, so we're going to get right into it. The first scene is with the mom. So this is let me see. And I don't know what happened to Joshua. He wasn't even on this episode. Um so who is it? Yeah. So the first episode is I'm sorry, the first scene is with actually not her. It's with Chad's mom. Yeah. Katina. Yeah. Katina. Okay, so Katina and the 3 young ladies are all in the kitchen. And I guess they're cooking breakfast. Seems like they're having a really good time. She asked them what they like to put in their grits. Is sugar all day? I've always been sugar. Um and then Lauren, which one is Lauren? Yeah, so Lauren, she asked the mom if she regularly gets involved in her son's decision making as it relates to relationships, right? Because they're on this show, the mom's making all the decisions. So she was like, do y'all always do this? Does he always consult you about his relationships? Because I need to know that. So she says, the mom says no. She says that her and Chad talk about pretty much everything other than relationships. So again, I don't know why Chad came on the show with his mom. I said from the beginning, from episode 1, it seems like they have some type of friction in their relationship. I can't quite put my finger on it. We learned a little bit more about it later in this episode, but I just felt like something was there. Like he doesn't quite mess with her like that. So don't know. I don't know if he just wanted to be on TV, and that's a possibility. Um, but you come on a show where you're trying to find a woman and you bring your mom because your mom's supposed to help give you advice, but in real life, you never talk to your mom about your relationship. So it just doesn't add up to me, but that's neither here nor there. So they look like they're all having a good time. And just a side note, this is like a really good thing to do with your potential mother-in-law. Because y'all remember she's raised this young man for 18 plus years and knows everything about him. So you really endear yourself to her if you can come in and say, "Hey, what's his favorite recipe?" Or what do you do when he gets upset or sad? Like, what are some of the things that makes him feel better? Like, ask her questions. That really makes her feel valued and not like, you're coming in to take over or you think you know everything about him when y'all only been dating for 3 months. So lean into that, tap into that knowledge, and that really makes the moms feel good as well. So I like what they were doing in the kitchen. Then mama drops a little bomb. So she says that Chad is very messy and asks them how they would deal with this. So I thought that was kind of funny. Um, and you really have to, when you're going to date somebody, especially if there's a potential for marriage, you need to see what's your definition of clean? What's your definition of messy? Because it could be a million different things, right? Like that's what I was trying to understand. Like when she said he's messy, what does that really mean? So she was saying maybe like laying stuff on the floor, or whatever. So you just got to figure out what that's about because that can lead to a lot of arguments down the road. It starts off funny and it's all good. Like, you gonna leave that right there? And then 2 years later, y'all yelling at each other because he's still leaving stuff. So you can't just pass that off. I know that they were kind of being funny about the whole thing, but that is serious. I know even for me, for me, I'm not a neat freak. It's not that. It's just about organization and order for me. I can't be in disorganization because it just it like it speaks to my inner peace. I don't know if that makes sense. But when stuff is messy and chaotic and stuff is everywhere, like I can't function. And so for me that is something that's important. And again, I'm not saying my house is spick and span by any means. And, I've kinda got a little more lax because we got 3 kids, and it's just no way to keep the house as immaculate as I would like, so I try my best just to try to keep it orderly. And, my son is 7, and I'm really even having to instill that in him, like, when you're done with something, put it back, put it up, don't leave it. Don't leave it like, "Oh, yeah, mama get that." No, so having to, like, ram that into his head. Yeah, we gotta be orderly, at all times, and in my vehicle, that's another thing, like, I don't play about my vehicle being dirty, like, on the inside, like, no, he knows, and my other 2, when they get big enough, don't leave anything in my car, do not do that, because we got 3 rows, he sits in the back, so I'm like, "Get all your stuff, because anything that's left is going in the trash, like, do not leave anything in my vehicle." So I always joke, if you ever come to my vehicle and it's dirty, not even dirty, I'm just talking about, like, a lot of stuff in there, because I don't have stuff in my car, like, nothing's in there but car seats, right? I don't have, like, sweaters and shoes and 3 purses, and there's no judgment. That's just like I said, I can't do that. So, if you ever go to my vehicle and you see that, then you need to check on me because you know something's gone wrong, okay? So my vehicle is a reflection of how I'm feeling inside. So, yeah, I gotta keep it vacuumed, I gotta keep it clean. I don't know, it's how I function. I just can't function in a lot of clutter and mess. I can't do it. Can't wait till my 3 sons get old enough. Because 'cause you talking about every Saturday, my vehicle better be detailed, it better be vacuumed. I can't wait. Imma put them to work, y'all. I really am. But anyway, that was a little tangent. All right. So yeah, so she asked them about him being tells them about them being messy, so they answer that. And then she also talks about privacy and like how are you with like using the bathroom and having the door open and stuff like that. I mean, I don't know if that's as big of a deal, but I mean that is something that you might want to know. I know for me, it's funny because 'cause I've played sports my whole life, basketball, volleyball, track, all the stuff. So, I've grown up in locker rooms, changing in front of people, showering, so to me, privacy, like, I'm kinda numb to it, you know what I'm saying? Like, it does not matter to me. I really don't care about privacy at all. But, when I was with my husband, he'd be like, "So, you gonna close the bedroom door or it doesn't phase me because like I said, I'm just so used to changing in front of people and showering all the time in locker rooms, my whole life. So it's not a big deal to me at all. But again, that's something that you gotta iron out with your significant other. So they just have some small talk. Now I was wondering, is Chad still mad? Because why wasn't he at breakfast? Did y'all not think that was weird? I was like, why is the mama and the 3 girls there, women there, and he's not there? And they were showing him swimming, but production, you can't always take production at face value. They were showing him swimming, but that doesn't mean that he was swimming at the exact same time that they were cooking. You see what I'm saying? So you can't take it like that. He could have been swimming 2 days ago and they just played it for us. I don't know, maybe he was, but I just didn't understand why he wasn't at breakfast. So I was like, "Dang, I wonder if she's still mad about her sending, Miranda home." So I don't know. Okay, so then we go over to James and, oops, James and Bre'Von. So let me see which one. Yeah, here we go. So James and Bre'Von. So remember Bre'Von won the paintball activity. All right, so her prize was she got to do mixology with James in the backyard. Like y'all couldn't go nowhere? Come on, y'all, I gotta get better with the budget. So, they literally, like, just went in the backyard, and the mixology thing, it seemed like it lasted for, like, 10 minutes. It was like, "Okay, what you want? What you want? Okay, mix it. Alright, you done." I was like, "Lord." So, anyway, they sat down. They had a really good conversation, though. Sh she asked what he looks for, and no, he asked her what she looks for in a man, and she says that she looks to be equally yoked with her partner so they can raise children the right way. Um, then James asked her what she likes to do for fun, and again, this was hilarious because we found out that Bre'Von likes to talk a lot. So again, it was funny. They were showing a reel of her going on and on and on. She liked skating, she liked to eat, she liked music, she liked Airbnb, she liked brunch, and she was just going on and on and on. So that was pretty funny. And we all know a person either in our family or at work that just can talk, right? Like they can just go without you even responding, right? Like they don't need your response. They can just reel it off for like minutes at a time. Like we all know that person. And I don't even think they realize they do it, or sometimes they do and they still can't stop. You know what I'm saying? So, it starts off cool. You like, yeah, but then 2, 3 minutes in, your mind is, like, wondering. You're thinking about, like, something completely else, and they're just like, "Da, da, 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 da." So that seems like what was going on here, and I was gonna say that Bre'Von needs to fix this if she wants to get a good man, but I just think people that talk a lot, that's just who they are. I don't even think it's something that can be fixed. Could they potentially be more aware? Possibly, but I just think that's just who they are. I think she's just gonna have to find somebody that is okay with it and that loves to hear her talk, and then maybe they don't talk as much and she can kind of feel the space, feel the air type of thing. But I will say I do like that James was a very good sport about it, right? Because he could have been upset about it in his confessional. He could have been like, "Oh, I'm so tired of her." But thought it was funny, and he mentioned to her a couple times like, "You can talk a little bit." So I like how he was giving her feedback in the moment and not pretending like everything was okay, and then in his confessional saying something, or her getting kicked off the show. And so I like that he was telling her, like, "You talk a lot. This is like the 3rd time I've told you." So that she's aware, and if that's something that she's able to change, then maybe she could taper it back a little bit. So overall, I thought they had a really good date, and I thought they learned a lot about each other. And overall, I really like James. I like his personality. He seems like he can be professional when he needs to, but he's not too stuck up. Like he also can joke with you, be cool, you know what I mean? So I really like that about him. Oh, I'm sorry. So there was more. So Brevon mentions that so this was funny. And this I told y'all this, right? She mentions that they found out that they both go to the same church, right? But Brevon's like, "Dang, I never seen you." And I told y'all this. What was it, episode 2? I said, "This is what men do. They just throw that out there. Oh yeah, me, yeah, yeah. I go to church. I be reading my Bible all the time." And they don't, and it's a lie. Okay. They just say that because that sounds good. And that makes you see what she got on the screen right here? Somebody's son who's a God fearing man. So if a man throws that out, if they just say God, somewhere in a sentence, then the woman's gonna be like, "Oh my God, I got me a man of God." Like, it's a lie, y'all. You just gotta see it with your eyes. Remember I told y'all that? Don't worry about what they say. You gotta see it. You'll see it in their life. And so this was it. I clocked that perfectly. So she was like, "Dang, how can we go to the same church and I never see you?" And unless they go to a mega church or something. But even then, you know, I don't know. I and the reason why I know that he does not go to church like that is if somebody said, "Hey, I never see you here," and you do go to church, you're gonna be like, "Oh no, I be there. I be there all the time. Like I may not go on the fourth Sundays, but I be." He didn't have any rebuttal when she was like, "I never see you." He was like, "Oh, yeah, I be in and out." Yeah, right. Okay. And it's all good. My thing is you just don't lie about it. Just be like, "Yeah, I'm still working on my relationship with God, my heart's in the right place, but I'm not really in church right now," or, just keep it real. But, guys just feel the need to lie, and I knew it. I knew he was lying about that. So anyway, so then the last question she asked, and maybe interpreted this wrong, but I thought she asked him, would he want to wait until they got married to have sex? That's what I thought she asked. And I thought that that was a very good question because, if that's something that's important to her, if she said she was, raised in the church, grandfather is a pastor, I think, so I'm sure that's something that's important to her to wait till you get married. That is something you definitely need to discuss with the person you're dating up front. So there's no surprises, there's no pressure being put on anybody. So that was a great question. I'm glad she brought that up. Um, and but it's tricky because another way this can go, and I have seen this with my own two eyes. Two people, they can have the right heart, the right intentions. We don't want to have sex until we get married, which is very honorable. But what can happen sometimes too is then you rush the dating process, right? I've seen people get married in 3 months because they were waiting to have sex or whatever. So it's like, okay, well, let's just hear them get married. You get married, and then you're like, I don't even know this person, and they have all these issues, and they get divorced. I've seen that multiple times. So you just really gotta have it. Like if we're really gonna wait, then that doesn't mean let's rush the dating process. Like those two aren't correlated, right? We need to both carry these things out separately. So anyway, she asked him that, and what he said was, "Yeah, I'm gonna tell my kids to be better than I was, and to wait, to have sex till they get married." Because he was saying he didn't do that, but he's gonna tell his kids. But yeah, I didn't think that's what she was asking him. I didn't hear her say anything about kids. I thought she was asking him, like, I'm talking about me and you. Like, are you cool to wait until we get married? But maybe I misinterpreted that. But I thought that was his way of skirting around the answer without answering it. But I don't know. I don't know. Okay, so next we go back to Chad and his mom. Okay, yeah. So next we go back to Chad and his mom. Chad talks about how he's upset that she sent home Miranda, which I kinda guessed that because of the whole breakfast thing. And then he also dropped a bomb that when they signed up for the show, they didn't know that their moms would be making the decisions. Because that was a question I had too. I was wondering, were they, like, just putting on for the cameras, and, like, they knew their mom was gonna be making a decision, but for the cameras, they were like, "What? You're making the decision?" I thought it was something like that, but I guess they really didn't know, when they signed up for this show, which is kinda crazy. But yet and still, it doesn't excuse the fact that, "Chad, why did you come on here with your mom? Y'all don't have a good relationship. I don't care what anybody says. You don't talk to her about relationship advice." So I still don't know. Even if you thought you were gonna be making the decisions, I still don't know why you brought her on. I'm starting to think you just came on here for some camera time or something. Um Yeah, so you could see the friction was at an all-time high because it's been bubbling. Like I said, I sensed something, and in this scene, you could really see it was there. He was upset. And he even said, "Yeah, the whole term 'mother knows best,' like, I don't know about that. That's probably not true." And I'm just like, "Why would you say that about your mom?" You know what I'm saying? And then when I was getting pictures to put in here, and I was looking back at the first episode that they were on, and, they have the confessional scene where it's the mom and the son, and they're, like, in, some studio or whatever on a couch, and they're talking. She was, like, putting her arms around him, like, in attempt to hug him, like, something had been said, and she was like, "Ha ha," put her arms around him, and he was sitting just like this and looked at her like, stone-faced. I was like, "Dang." So, again, I don't know what happened, but Chad, he doesn't really rock with her like that, like he trying to put on, and it's coming out now. So then, so this he talks to her, tells her that he's a little disappointed in her sending Miranda home. Then this next part was crazy, y'all. So the mama says she wants to know which of the ladies grew up in a two-parent household. And I was confused because I was like, "Wait a minute. You're not with his dad, so Chad didn't grow up in a two-parent household, right?" But then I was like, "Well, maybe she remarried and he did go." I'm just like, "Why clearly you can't be that much of a hypocrite, right?" So I'm like, "Well, maybe she remarried and they raised Chad up in a two-parent household, clearly." But no, Chad confirmed my confusion because he was confused too. And he said, "Wait a minute, mom, you were a single mother. So what are you talking about?" This was crazy. So I've kind of been in the middle, leaning a little bit more on Katina's side, the mom. But now I think I gotta come over to Chad's side. I don't know if I can trust Katina's judgment now. Cause that was pretty weird to say. Like, how can I judge somebody else for being raised in a two-parent household when I didn't provide that for my own son? So now I'm starting like, Katina, do you got a few screws loose up there? Like, what's going on? That didn't make sense. Um, and then I also thought it was odd. So he talked about his upbringing, and we already knew that he went to go stay with his dad. Which, on the last episode, we talked about maybe that's why she doesn't really know him like that. 'Cause she probably missed from 9 to 18. That's a big half of his life, you know what I mean? Um, but he said something. He said, "I didn't have a lot of parental guidance." So I was like, "Well, what does that mean?" So I don't know if they'll go in deeper into that, but again, that's just proving my point that you can tell he doesn't look up to her with the same admiration that the other two guys. Joshua loves his aunt, and you can tell, or aunt slash mom. You can tell their banter is funny. "Oh, you think this? Okay, we'll see." It's funny. Same thing with James and his mama, right? They're silly, it's banter. "Ma, don't do that." You know what I'm saying? But their relationship is just, you can tell it's different, it's off. Like he's holding something against her. That's what I felt from the beginning. And you can really start to see that, especially in this scene. So when he said he didn't have a lot of parental guidance, I was like, hmm. So I'm wondering if when he was growing up, maybe she didn't have it all together. Maybe she was in the streets. I don't know what was happening. And then he said he was bouncing from house to house between her and the dad. I don't know. But anyway, I just thought that was kind of crazy for Katina to say, because you didn't provide that for your child. So how can you judge somebody else? And Chad made a good point. Like, I turned out just fine. And it's like, it's so many people that grew up in two parent households with a preacher for a daddy that are terrible people. You know what I'm saying? So that I mean, it's a plus. Don't get me wrong, but two-parent households can be toxic just like any other situation. So it's really not about, the mom and dad and all that. It's just about how was the environment. Because you could have grew up in a two-parent household and you were walking on eggshells your whole life, or the dad was abusive, or anything. So I don't know. That came out of like left field. I don't know if she Googled something like 10 things you need to find out about. I don't know. That was wild. Okay, so anyway, then it's time for, we seen Joshua do the whole photo shoot piece, and so now that Chad and James, they're gonna do it as well. Again, y'all, I don't know who at the OWN network is over the activities, but they have been terrible in my opinion. The paintball was stupid. What were you supposed to gain out of that? I don't know. the photo shoot thing is also stupid. I just feel like there's many more creative, things that they can do where you can really get something out of it. Taking photos, I mean, uh, I don't know. I know I would have failed at that. I'm not a picture person, so but does that mean I'm, not compatible with him? I don't know. I don't know where they were going with this, and it was painful to watch. Um, so Chad is up first, and I think Chad, he's just wearing his emotions. He's still upset about the Miranda thing, and he was just not into the photo shoot at all. Like he almost had like a pained look on his face to take these photos. Um, so the first one he takes is with Paige, my girl Paige, my homegirl Paige. Um, Looked very uncomfortable. Like I said, that's probably how I would look too. I'm just not, let me pose, and I got the faces, and I don't. And I would have been embarrassed doing it in front of everybody and his mom, so it wouldn't have went well with me either. And like I said, Chad just looked like he was not into it at all. So the one with him and Paige wasn't good. Um, the one with Lauren, they weren't into it at all either. Well, let me see. Oh, no, no. So Lauren said she said that she's very controlling and bossy when it comes to her image. So I was wondering what that meant. I was wondering, does that mean that she has a very curated social media presence, right? Is she like, nope, don't snap no pictures of me unless I gotta see it first. And let me put a filter on it and let me crop it in. Okay, like is she one of those type of people, which is fine. But I was wondering what she meant by that. Um, she says she's very controlling and bossy when it comes to her image. So I was wondering, is she very particular about pictures and videos and all that type of stuff? And does that mean she doesn't live in the moment because she's always worried about a picture and a video? I don't know. I'm making it up, but just trying to understand what that meant. Um, so theirs was okay. I think Chad was starting to warm up a little bit. Um, and then him and Jasmine. Now, Jasmine has modeled before, so she really took the lead and she did a great job. And I think that really helped Chad. Um, and it made, and she did a solid for herself because, like I said, I can't remember one thing that Jasmine has said on these episodes. Like I really can't. But it made Chad more intrigued with her, like the way she was like, giving and posing and everything. And they also showed Chad and her like up late one night, at the pool or whatever. And that was probably the most happy I've seen him, to be honest. He was like laughing and really in his element. So I was like, okay, maybe him and Jasmine could have something. So then we go over to James. It was his turn to do this crazy photo shoot. So him and Sabernay, so y'all remember Sabernay? So they were up first. Again, it was very awkward. They were in the kitchen. I think she was supposed to be feeding him or something. The mom was making it even more awkward. It's funny because his mom was into it, like Joshua's aunt was into it. Like, okay, yeah, like so she was feeling it. She liked it. She started off a little shy, but she did open up, and they ended up having a pretty good shoot. And then it was time for Bre'Von. So him and Bre'Von, theirs was pretty bland and awkward. It was on the stairs, if you remember that. It was given like prom, like put your hands on the waist type of thing. I Yeah, and James said the same thing in his confessional. He said it was giving bestie vibes, which is never what you want to hear when you're attracted to a man. Bestie vibes, homie vibes. So it's not looking good for Bre'Von. And then was Alicia. So their shoot was good too. Alicia is used to taking pictures, and plus he's into her and he likes her. So um they did a really good job as well. So they show that terrible activity, and then we go back to Chad and his mom, and they are going to debrief about the photo shoot session. She asked him how he would rank it, and he said Jasmine was number one, then Lauren, then Paige, which was fair because I said the exact same thing. Oh yeah, and I'm scared for my girl Paige because she was at the bottom. I was like, dang it, Paige. So I'm hoping she doesn't get sent home. Um, but see, I was confused because I thought the point of the activity, just like that paintball thing, was like, okay, whoever does the best gets to go on a date with him by yourself. So clearly Jasmine did the best. He also thought Jasmine did the best. But then the mom's like, yeah, but I'm not gonna go with Jasmine. She wants to have Paige go on a date with him because she doesn't want him to overlook Paige. And so this just boils his blood even more. You can see the friction in their relationship even more. He is so upset. So not only have you sent Miranda home, but you're not gonna let me go on a date. Not even with who I want to go on a date with, because it is, but she did the best in the activity. So again, Mama Katina, I don't know what's going on with you in this episode. You're starting to show yourself a little bit. Um, because even like I said with the last episode, because you remember with James, James loves Alicia, right? His mom knows that. And so she didn't kick Alicia off on the first episode because she wants him to still be into the process and everything. Now Alicia probably is not gonna win, but she wasn't gonna kick her off first episode. Mama Katina should have did the same thing. Like, why kick Miranda off if you know that's somebody that he really likes? Not saying that you have to choose her in the end, but why start off on a bad foot? So you're gonna compound that with digging your heels in with this whole Jasmine versus Paige thing. Again, it's like, let him go on a date with Jasmine. And that could have righted the ship with him being upset about Miranda. You know what I'm saying? She should have let him have this one. She should have been like, you know what, Jasmine did the best. So, you know what I'm saying? So now he's even more mad, even more upset. So I don't know where this is gonna go. I don't think it's gonna be good. I think the show was supposed to be like them on the same team versus the girls, but now I think in a weird twist, I think the next episode this is gonna become more about them and them infighting. So we'll see. But I was entertained. I'm hoping the activities get better and the one-on-one dates need to get better. Like, can they go out of the house or are they stuck in the house for like the whole 2 weeks? Goodness. But anyway, so that was episode 4. I don't know what happened to our guy Joshua. So I thought they were gonna be panning between all three, but maybe it's just too much content to get in. So hopefully we will see him the next episode to see what's going on with him. All right, so I'll come to you guys next week with episode 5. See ya.